Did you know that a simple misunderstanding of Arizona's totally unique tax code could literally cost you thousands in double paid taxes or, honestly, worse, land you in some pretty serious legal trouble? Well, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into how mastering the Arizona Resale Certificate can give your business a massive competitive edge, saving you a ton of time and hard-earned capital.
But listen, before we get to the rewards, we really have to talk about the risks. Operating without a valid transaction privilege tax, or TPT license in Arizona, it's not just some minor administrative oversight. Under state law, specifically Arizona Revised Statute Section 42-5055Q, it's actually a Class 3 misdemeanor. We're talking stakes of up to a $500 fine and 30 days in jail. And on top of that, you could face civil fines or even have your business suspended entirely. So yeah, the state definitely does not mess around here.
Okay, so assuming you're operating legally, let me ask you a really critical question. Are you paying taxes twice? Think about it. If you're buying wholesale inventory in Arizona, paying tax at the register, and then turning around and charging your customer tax when you resell it, you are effectively leaving your capital right there on the table. You are paying a tax that, legally, you are completely exempt from. So to protect your bottom line, here is our practical roadmap for acquiring and properly using an Arizona Resale Certificate. We'll be covering the Arizona Resale Advantage, the TPT license versus the resale certificate, the steps to acquire yours, out-of-state rules, and finally, staying compliant and audit-ready. Let's kick things off with Section 1, the Arizona Resale Advantage. To actually stop paying taxes twice, we first need to wrap our heads around how Arizona taxes businesses differently than almost anywhere else. What most people just casually call a sales tax is actually the transaction privilege tax, or TPT. It's a tax imposed on the vendor for the privilege of doing business in the state, rather than a traditional sales tax that's levied directly on the buyer. Local First Arizona really hits the nail on the head here. They note that while it's often called a sales tax, TPT is collected by the business but paid directly to the state. This brilliant distinction means if you're out there treating it like a standard sales tax you might see in, say, California or Texas, you're already a step behind in your compliance strategy. Moving right along to Section 2, TPT license versus resale certificate. The absolutely crucial thing to understand here is the difference between these two documents. Think of your TPT license as your permission slip. It authorizes you to sell and collect tax. The resale certificate, officially known as Form 5000A, well, that's your VIP pass. The permission slip lets you sell. The VIP pass lets you buy tax-free inventory meant for resale. You absolutely need both of these to optimize your cash flow. So who actually needs that TPT license permission slip? Basically, whether you're a local retailer with a brick-and-mortar store, an Amazon FBA seller storing inventory in the state, or even a remote marketplace seller who just crossed that $100,000 economic nexus threshold, securing that TPT license is your unavoidable first step. Oh, and yes, even special event vendors at craft fairs and pop-ups need one too. Now, once you have that active TPT license, you unlock access to Arizona Form 5000A. Just a quick tip, make sure it is 5000A, not just Form 5000, which is totally different and used for nonprofits. Form 5000A is the magic document that signals to your vendors that your purchases are strictly for resale and therefore perfectly tax exempt. All right, Section 3, steps to acquire your certificate. Let's make this actionable. Getting fully compliant is a super straightforward 3-step process. Step 1, register for your TPT license. Step 2, receive your official TPT license number. And Step 3, download, complete, and sign Form 5000A. And remember, you hand this form directly to your vendors, not the state. So how do you actually apply in Step 1? You've got 3 options. Registering online via aztaxes.gov is highly, highly recommended. Why? Because it gives you an instant license number right there on your screen. If you go the old school route and mail in a paper joint tax application, the JT1, you'll be waiting about 2 weeks. Or you can always visit the Department of Revenue offices in Phoenix, Mesa, or Tucson if you need same-day service in person. And you know what's surprising? The barrier to entry here is incredibly low. The base state fee for your TPT license is just $12 to cover your primary business location. Now, there might be some extra city or county fees depending on exactly where you operate, but it's all handled under one unified filing system. That simple $12 fee basically opens the door to thousands in tax savings. Which brings us to Section 4, usage and out-of-state rules. Now, this is a really interesting nuance, especially if you buy across state lines. Multi-jurisdictional forms do exist. like the Border States Uniform Sale for Resale certificate, which is meant to make trade easier between places like Arizona, California, Texas, and Mexico. But Arizona has a notoriously strict stance on this. The state explicitly prefers that you use their own Form 15,000A for any tax-exempt purchases within state lines. Honestly, Arizona generally just won't accept resale certificates issued by other states. The rule of thumb, if you're buying in Arizona, use the Arizona form. And when you do hand over that Form 5000A to a vendor, it has to be absolutely flawless. A cautious supplier is not going to accept an incomplete form in good faith. You've got to fill out every single detail: your legal business name, that shiny new TPT license number, a really detailed description of exactly what you're buying, and of course, your authorized signature. But hey, here is a major pitfall that catches so many new business owners off guard. A vendor actually has zero legal obligation to accept your resale certificate. No way around it. Even if your form is 100% valid and perfectly filled out, they can just say no. And if they refuse it, you have to pay the tax up front at the register and then go through the hassle of filing a refund claim with the state later. Pro tip: always call your suppliers ahead of time to double-check their specific policies. Finally, let's jump into Section 5, staying compliant and audit ready. Getting the certificate is only half the battle, right? There are some pretty heavy responsibilities placed on both sides of any tax-exempt transaction. As the buyer, it's on you to provide the completed form and make absolutely sure you are only buying items for legitimate resale. As the seller, they have to keep that form for their records and actively go online to verify that your TPT license is actually valid. It's basically a dual accountability system. And the state takes this system incredibly seriously. If you try to use a resale certificate to buy personal items or, say, a new desk for your office, that's considered fraud. It's literally a felony under Arizona law. You also need to hang on to all your TPT documents for at least 4, but ideally up to 7 years. Oh, and here's a massive one. Even if you had 0 sales in a given filing period, you still have to file a 0 return. If you forget, that triggers an automatic $25 penalty and raises an immediate red flag for an audit. Don't let that happen. So, knowing all those strict rules, but also seeing the incredible financial rewards, ask yourself, how much capital is your business leaving on the table right now by not utilizing Form 50,000A? Because by using this procedural roadmap we've just laid out, you can finally stop paying double taxes, unlock your tax-exempt purchasing power, and seriously optimize your cash flow. Just as a quick reminder, tax laws do shift, and every single business structure is totally unique. This explainer is strictly for educational purposes, so you should definitely consult with a licensed tax professional or CPA for your specific situation. But I'll leave you with this. Now that you have the knowledge to unlock this huge competitive advantage, what is the very first step you're going to take today to scale your business in Arizona? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.